Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons review today that I'm doing for Alan Sun as part of the custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a live performance of a track by Unless You Are Me by Eason Chan. Eason Chan. I'm not sure, Chan or Chan, you guys can let me know in the comments because I've probably been mispronouncing it for like a year or two now, but we do have lyrics for this one, and I know there's also a live concert people have been asking me to check out from Eason, so maybe we can do that. But in the meantime, we're going to listen through this track from start to finish. We're going to hear what we think. It should also be noted that Alan has been kind enough to provide me with a translation of the lyrics, so thank you very much for that. But let's go. I'm excited for this. Oh, straight in with the guitars, the drums and everything? That's wild, dude. Very uplifting kind of, shout out for having the guitarist on display, having the band on display. Like, I will say that every time. I like that about Eason. He doesn't seem like an egotist, you know? Incredibly charismatic though with his vocal performance. Nice use of the beltry there as well. Have we got a triplet feel? One and the two. Yeah, we got a triplet feel to the percussion, the groove in general. So it's kind of like a slow dance kind of vibe there. You know, the guitars, the bass, the drums, and everything else, including the keys, are a welcome combination there. Very friendly sounding, even in this. Yeah, he's a showman, isn't he? I'm familiar with that chord progression. It works. That there, that later, that second half there, bum, 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 is a great way of rounding that off. And I kind of feel as if it's a little bit naked when people don't include that second half sometimes. Great use of the ascending strings there. Yeah, the crowd loves it, man. Cool response in that lead guitar is pretty dope as well. And like the way that he has that kind of, he interacts with the band as well, you know. I like the fact they've got a range of different backing vocalists because you can get different textures of different vocalists in there. It sounds like a group is around him kind of chanting away. It's very personable. There's a very casual, friendly feel to the overall theme, you know. Great ascending note there as well. Yeah, the fact that he like is able to hold that note there is just a change there over top of a solo section and bring the crowd up is great stagemanship. Yeah, and he gives like the crowd, like, how do I say this? I'll wait until the solo's over. I just like the fact they're focusing on the lead guitarist here. I think that's really polite. And that bass line as well, like do 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 do, it's rolling around the fretboard and exploring its range, and I think that's wonderful because it adds a little bit more character to it, makes it a little bit more sort of jazzy, a little more sophisticated. And that guitarist down in the bottom right, you can't see her. Yeah, there's a guitarist in like the red and white there, like there. Oh no, damn it. Yeah, there was like a lady guitarist there. Vocal fry? Wow, this is wild, dude. It's great to see the backing band having as much fun as Eason is on stage. I think that's wonderful. A bluesy intonations there. Great run. Fantastic piano music. The pianist is wonderful. Oh, dude, that gave me chills. What a wonderful live performance. What a wonderful live performance. I am so happy to have been able to, to check through that. It's excellent. I'm really happy with this. That was the song though, right? Damn, man, what a tune. So we got lyrics here that we're gonna check out. Being together to watch every movie, being together to breathe every breath of air. Yeah, so this is a love song, Unless You Are Me. There isn't a second that you are not with me. We will even hold hands to experience birth and death. Unless you are me, you can't always be with me. That's true. It's a valid statement, you know. So is he talking about how he has all these expectations of this other person, but then he's realized that the only person that'll truly have his own life experience is him? That is completely unique to him. Two people with the happiness of being occupied every minute spending with you. There isn't a second that I am not on your side. We will hold hands. Couldn't love then steal and hate from tiredness together. How beautiful it gets. Together there will also be bad with a person. Together to the end is not by luck. Yeah, okay, I get it now. So this is my conclusion of Unless You're Me by Eason Chan. What do I think this track is about? I think it's about someone who has realized that they want this intense connection with someone, but they cannot have that totality to it, that safety blanket, because the other person is not him. And so, it's not by luck that you'd have that time together. It's just not. It's that you have to either really, really want it and work at it and continue to approach it with a fresh perspective every day and try and make the most of it, or it just won't happen. And so it's I think maybe it's about accepting that maybe in past situations where they thought they'd be together forever, they either just didn't do enough or it was never going to work. And I think that's Eason just talking himself through it. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's a beautiful thing, and I'm happy to have heard this track today because I think it's a message that a lot of people need to hear. It's that sometimes if you don't make it work with someone, it's not necessarily your fault. You can be damn near flawless as a partner to someone, but that it can just not be enough. And, our brains are going to try and find ways to blame ourselves for it unless we're lacking self-awareness or complete narcissists who cannot take responsibility for anything. But yeah, don't worry, it's not just you. It's a two-person thing, or if it's more people, I'm not going to judge, but you know what I mean. What I think of the vocals, I think that Eason Chan's vocals are phenomenal. As a singer, he's got phenomenal hidden chest voice, really great vocal technique. There were these wonderful vocal runs and little bits of vibrato and legato passages there, great ornamentation on top of it, which was great. I had a fantastic time listening through it. I was listening to someone who was very charismatic and confident on stage, was communicating with the crowd, and really was loving being there. He had a great passion for the performance and for the story they told. The end part of the song where things went down with just a piano and him, and it went to kind of like a bluesy kind of sad place where he came to the realization that that end point where they were together wasn't luck. That there was very beautiful for me because it shows a different side of Eason from what we've heard, where like in the throes of it, you know, you're kind of going, oh this, but then this and stuff, and then the realization is not a big band moment. Sometimes that epiphany is very quiet. And that's what it represented there, and I'm very thankful that I got to listen to him do it, and that I got to see him do it live. This is why I like doing YouTube videos like this. I like reviewing them. It's just I can't do them in the fan request live streams because they'll get blocked during the live stream. But anyways, so Alan, if you're watching this, thank you. I think that the track at 5.5 minutes, there was great use of that time. I believe firmly that you can get away with a long form factor track if you include lots of interesting stuff in it, tell the story that you want to, and don't oversaturate the listener with too much of one thing, and don't overstay your welcome. And I think we had these kind of verse, bridge, you know, chorus sections, the ABC kind of thing with an intro and an outro part where things came down with the piano. Wonderful solo sections and instrumental parts as well, little breaks there, which I think were fantastic. Like after the choruses into the next section, you know, we had a wonderful display of all the various elements in the mix, including the guitar, the bass, drums, piano, the strings, there might have even been more in that I missed. Those are the ones that came to mind so far. Obviously, the lead guitarist coming in with the bass and the drums, like the lead guitarist was wonderful, phrasing those solo parts wonderfully, and was very confident in his performance and very adept over the fretboard in a way that had a lot of soul to it. So it suited the way that Eason was singing. The drummer was pocketing for the most part and could clearly play more than what they were doing, but wanted to establish a groove and keep it moving forward in a way that was supportive of the rest of the arrangement. The bassist predominantly kept to the root notes, but then would explore the fretboard occasionally, playing different notes, the scale shapes and modes, which I think was a smart move because there was room in the arrangement for that, in part because of how well notched it was in the frequency spectrum. You know, these strings in the higher range in the second verse were fantastic, how they ascended nice and up high into the sky. The pianist had a full range there, like that was an 8-octave set of keys, but they knew to kind of keep it in the mid to high range until the end when it was just Eason and them. And I think that was a smart move, because if you go too far to the left or the right of the keyboard, the problem is that you are going to end up being kind of muffled by some of the lower elements like the bass, or it's going to kind of sound too quiet in the high end, because you need to really slam those higher keys to get them heard clearly in a mix, because they're just very, very high, right? Unless you add a lot of compression to them, which can ruin the dynamic range of the instrument and completely destroy the point of the performance. I think the guitar solo section was wonderfully phrased as well. It was just fantastic for Eason to you know, communicate with the rest of the band and showcase them and be thankful for them. It always makes me sad when the backing bands are in the shadows, so to have them on display, it makes me respect Mr. Chan a whole lot more, and that's what I want. I want to look up to these guys and listen to their music and appreciate what they do and love them for what they do, and I had no issues doing that today. The theme itself, you know, with that triplet vibe that we had, dun, 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 it was like a playful kind of swing to it, like the throes of life. You know, going from to to fro, kind of day by day. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, like, it was upbeat and positive despite the kind of existentialism of having a life connected to someone like that, and the particulars, the possible codependent sort of tendencies that can potentially evoke. But I think it was really powerful at the end when it came down. That kind of like bluesy kind of motif there with those kind of pentatonic runs. Just the kind of realization of that was very powerful. So I'm glad that we finished the song on that point. We didn't end it on that theme and fade out. I don't think it would have been as powerful. I wouldn't have taken it as seriously. I think that having the realization, the epiphany at the end, gave it a sense of anchoring of emotional sort of reality in there. But to be fair, there was a lot of variety within the different instrumental parts there. Lots of different fills and string parts and etc. And I don't think it needed more. It was great use of the real estate there, 5.5 minutes well spent, and it was fantastic to get to know Eason more. There was not a note out of place. Things were well connected. The studio recording, mixing and mastering was sensational. I'm very, very happy with how it sounded, especially for a live performance where, like, It really can be give and take depending on like which venue you're at, which live engineers you're at, but we smashed it. The vocals sounded nice and clear and polished in the mix, nicely filtered and EQ'd there, a little bit of reverb there. The guitars were nicely balanced in the mix there, both the acoustic parts, because I saw the acoustic performer playing there as well as the leads. And I didn't really talk about the acoustic guitarist. That lady acoustic guitarist that I saw like in the second half of the video was absolutely bouncing along and really into it. I love it when I see musicians really getting into a song and tune and having fun with it. I just want to give a shout out to that lady as well. She did fantastically. In fact, the whole entire band doing the big jump at the end for the bow at the end was just sensational. Great showmanship. The drums were nicely recorded as well as the bass parts there, the strings and the keys. Everything was adeptly handled. It's basically commercial grade, I think, major label grade. Things, there were no resonant frequencies in the frequency spectrum. It was nice and wide in the stereo field there. The leveling was top notch. There was dynamic range to the performance as well, which I appreciate. They didn't feel the need to overcompress anything. And it was nice and loud without pumping. And this is basically my review of Eason Chan. Unless you are me, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. If you enjoyed this track, please do go show Eason Chan some love via their various social medias and their YouTube, and I'm sure they're on Spotify and all that. And stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll catch you in the next SP Patreon video. Spiderhands out.